Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Valecast. My name is Simo. Today I'm joined by Callum. Say hello, Callum.
Hello, Simo. Good to see you again.
As always, mate, it's good to see you. We're joined by a very special guest. We've got Mckay, quickly becoming first name in the team sheet at centre back. Anis, how you doing, mate?
I am fine, thanks, boys.
Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No worries at all.
So we've got some questions to ask you. I think the main one is, it's the most open one I'll ask you is how are you feeling about this season so far? We've had a few up and downs at the Vale, but things seem to be going quite well for you. You're actually having quite a good season, especially your last sort of run of games. You're really starting to nail down that centre back spot, aren't you?
Definitely, I think the start of the season was tricky with the run of fixtures we had, and being my first year at Highland League, it was kind of took a while to adapt, but knew that we're kind of into a decent run of games. I'm seeming to pick up a bit of form, and me and James seem to have formed a pretty good partnership at the back and stuff. So just getting more confident every game and stuff. But I'm really enjoying it so far. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Any questions, Callum?
Oh, loads of questions for us. Absolutely,
On
loads
you
of
go.
questions. But I suppose you kind of touched on it there, Innes, about kind of first full season playing Highland League, and obviously, I've come from the kind of junior ranks, where you were playing football before. So, I mean, there's always that kind of preconceived step up. But I know that the junior football's got a lot of talent in it as well. So, I mean, how did you find that transition going from playing at Deveronvale to then coming up to play for the Vale?
Well, because of COVID and stuff, I never really got to play like fully in like the Super League. We never actually got to go into that, so I just kind of jumped straight for when I was playing with Bucky Rovers, and that kind of style of football to straight into Highland League, which was a big. My first few like training sessions and games, I realised that it was a big step up with the tempo and the physicality and stuff. But it just like I said earlier, once you play more and more games, you just kind of get used to the systems and the tempo and physicality of the games. But it did take a while to just kind of get used to the.
Have you got a standout game this season that you've played in this, where you think you've either learned a lot, or do you think you've a game that you've maybe sort of like laid down a market and said, yeah, I'm definitely good enough to be part of this team and really compete in Highland League?
It's hard to pick out like a specific game in particular, but I just think like especially when you come up against tougher oppositions like your top six teams, I think that's when you really prove to yourself that you're good enough to play. Especially like the semi-final game we played for Martin. I really enjoyed, like, although the score sheet wasn't how I wanted it to be, I really enjoyed that game. And just whenever we win, really, I mean that's always a positive. And as long as we keep a clean sheet as well, it's always a good thing for our centre half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever that
What's obviously you're playing in that centre half position there. So I mean, what brings you more satisfaction, I suppose, because you've been in amongst the goals lately as well, Innes. So is it keeping that clean sheet and getting the 3 points, or is it knocking home a last minute equaliser to take it to penalties?
Definitely the clean sheet's my first priority, but I mean it's always a bonus to get on the other side of the goal. So recently I've had a bit of luck in front of goal, so we'll hopefully keep that going. But the main priority is clean sheets at the back. So
Absolutely,
it's quite good when we see you go. I was at that Full Martin game you mentioned in the semi final. I remember seeing you going up, and that was like you said, it wasn't the result that probably the Vale deserved on the day, because you were absolutely fantastic. It was just a couple of chances. Our chances didn't drop and theirs did.
Yep.
That would seem to be the story of the game. I remember you going up.
Absolutely, aye.
Oh, we're not giving up yet, and we definitely put pressure on them in the. But that seems to become a done thing for us. Near the death of a game, if we need an equaliser or we need a winner, you seem to make yourself. You have a look over at Craig or Mo. Look for a nod
Definitely.
to get yourself up there, get yourself a goal. How's it been with the new? We've got a full new setup at the Vale, haven't we? Full new coaching setup, loads of new faces around the club. How competitive is it in training? I imagine because there's loads of competition for places, and that seems to be the sort of main thing that people speak about when they talk about Deveronvale. The main difference this season is that something that's like, do you really need to fight for your place every time you go into training?
Absolutely, I am training such a high tempo and quality that if you're not at training through the week, then that's pretty much the rule. If you're not training through the week, you don't play, and especially if you're kind of slacking at training or not putting it in. I mean, he really deserve to play. And Craig and Mo aren't enough here to take somebody, even though they've been in previous weeks. You've got to put it in at training every week and just make sure your name's first in the team sheet.
It's healthy to have that as well, isn't it? To have that kind of competition there. Because, I mean, we've spoken on Valecast, I hate to think how many times so, especially about the quality that we've got at the back. And obviously yourself and James have come in this season and kind of really nailed down those positions, as you say. Obviously James is just here on loan at the moment, so we'll see what happens with that in the future. But there's so much talent in that kind of back line at the moment. So I mean, how are you enjoying playing next to likes Roscoe and having Kyle on that on the left back side? How are you kind of gelling as a defensive unit at the moment?
I think as time goes on, we're getting stronger and stronger. At the start of the season, we were a bit not sure how fit everybody's going to be, but now you can predict what their next move is, and I think that's helping us as a back four. And we're starting to get a few clean sheets on the board, and especially with Roscoe's experience as captain, he's been great so far. Just welcoming everybody into the team, especially because we've had a lot of new faces and stuff. And same with Kyle on the other side, he's been really helpful enough to be speaking through the games and stuff and just teaching the little things as the game goes through. So it's been really good for the other and more experienced players in the team. They've really helped so far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's something that I've noticed the last few games that I've watched is, as yourself and James in particular kind of got more experience of playing next to each other.
Yeah.
When one of you kind of steps up to go and press the man or whatever, the other one's kind of sitting back and just kind of filling that hole there. So it's really seems to be working quite well just now. Yeah. So hopefully that continues in this weekend as well, and gives us a chance maybe to get a wee bit of revenge on the boys over at Fermartin as well. So I mean, what's the kind of thinking looking ahead to that game this weekend? What kind of challenge can you expect from Fermartin?
Bit of unfinished business, innit? Unfinished business, that, innit?
Obviously, with the semi-final, we've got a rough idea of it to expect. But I mean, in the semi-final previously, we played really well in the first half. I think we conceded for a corner, which was poor. But other than that, I think we created plenty of chances ourselves and stuff. So I mean, we'll definitely go into the game with confidence. So as long as there's no silly mistakes and we can take our chances, then I didn't see why we can't go and get the 3 points.
Absolutely, and if you look at on a sort of form chart, they're very similar to us in the league. They're on next sort of, if you're looking at the league table there, the sort of 7th place, we need to make up ground on them, and by doing that, this is a real chance to actually get close to them and put a bit of pressure on them right now, because they've got a 7-point gap between us. So if we win this match, it's quite a good. It puts us in a decent space. It gives us a wee bit of distance from Clark. A full sort of 3-point gap with them, and then we can sort of push on to. Obviously push on it for Martin, but the Vale's had following the sort of difficult start we had to the season where we played a lot of the top contenders immediately, obviously with a lot of new players learning. Like you said, you and James got to learn about each other, especially Kyle on your left-hand side, Roscoe on the right. But what do you think? Where do you have a sort of did you always know these results were going to come? Did you always believe these results were going to come? Or was there something that changed? Was there a change in training? Was there a change in sort of formation or whatever? Where you sort of then the results started coming, then we've climbed the table from sort of near the bottom 5 to now we're putting pressure on the top 7, the top 6.
I wouldn't say formation. We seem to we've stuck at the same formation for the last wellness. It's 4-2-3-1, I think we play, which seems to be working really well with the 2 sitting in front of the back 4. That's really worked well. But I think it was just getting confidence on the board, getting a big 3 points. I think probably the Clark game away, I think we won that 3-2. I think that was big for the lads' confidence, seeing that we could go and beat a team that were above us in the table away from home as well. I think that was a really good 3 points, and it gave the lads the confidence that we can go in away from home and beat bigger teams, which we've shown we can do previously as well. But I think that was a big stepping stone for us away to Clark. I think that gave the boys real momentum to go forward.
Absolutely. Calby, any more questions for Ennis?
I think we've kind of covered off a good bit so far. I know we've had a couple of questions that have come in from supporters through the website, through social media and stuff, and Sim will get onto that just a wee minute. But I think obviously this is just your kind of first season back with the Vale. I know you came through the youth system there as well, and we had Kev on last week talking about that. But looking at the team, it's been fairly consistent I would say the last couple of months in particular, on a Saturday afternoon when us social media guys are prepping the team lines and stuff like that, we can kind of near enough guess what the starting 11 is going to be. How important do you think that's been to the kind of upturn in form that we've seen in the last couple of months compared to the start of the season? And what do you kind of put that down to as well, I suppose?
I think it's just obviously boys are doing their job to keep their place in the team. We seem to just have gelled as that starting 11. It just seems to be nailed down, and obviously it's been working. I mean, against Lossie a couple of weeks ago, I think the boys were probably the best we've looked this season. I think we were fantastic. We passed the bar really well. Lossie just couldn't really seem to get near us once we got the first goal. So I think everybody's just gelling really well as a team, especially with all the new faces and stuff. I think it took a while, but knew we're really into a groove. And that starting 11 seems to be almost, nailed down, as you say. You can pretty much predict the team, but equally we've got just as strong a bench. If there is somebody to drop out the team, we're strength and depth really. So, but I think it's just the confidence we've got and playing with each other every week is just really helping us.
Me too. And it's a wee question that we received through the website here. What was better, your debut for the Vale or your first goal for the Vale?
I think it would be my debut, just because you realise you finally made it to Highland League, and I think my debut was actually against Nairn because I missed the first game of the season. My debut was Nairn and we won 2-0, obviously clean sheet. Yeah. So again, I was really just buzzing. Your first game Highland League and you win 2-0. But my goal was equally as good, I suppose, because it's always a relief to get on your first goal on the score sheet. So I would go for my debut.
Next one, could you play as a striker?
I mean, if it came to it, I would, but I don't think I'm taking Dane's place anytime soon. So I think I'll just stick right at centre half. I knew.
To be fair, if you put you in Dane up front, it would make a sort of big man, little man sort of.
So you can't be too far away from Dane in the scoring charts this season either, Dennis. So you never know. You never know. We might be saying Mckay number 9 might be the champion. Yeah. We'll see.
And that's it. I don't want to go into the other ones, but that's going to do us for today because we are kind of running a wee bit out of time. So thanks very much for joining us, Dennis. It's been great to have you on, mate.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for joining me, Callum. By the way, for the viewers, if you've noticed the horrendous moustache that's grown upon my lip, it's obviously Movember. I'm not just trying a new style out, so please don't send me any messages or comments or anything like that. And that is going to do it for this week. As always, this show is brought to you by our partners Motive, who bring in a show every single week, Thursdays and Fridays, depending on our midweek fixture. And until next time, cheerio, bye.